because
Um,
both sides of her brain was affected. She's not going to be able to, live a good life. And they would always, people would, because I can hear,
yeah,
they would always, be coming in with bad news. But the good thing about my family, they was not giving up, and they were very prayerful.
let's
If
go.
they told me, if you have anything negative to say, do not say it in here with her. Speak to me about it, and we're
Exactly.
going to
Yeah.
shut you down, because God can do anything
Yeah.
but fail. We have
Mhm.
faith that she's gonna be okay. Every time
Mhm.
they said something negative, they would shut it down.
Yeah.
No, she coming out of here. She not. No,
Yeah.
no, she's not.
Mhm.
They will
Mhm.
back up against it, and
Yeah.
they always kept spiritual things around me,
Mhm.
and they even shut out a lot of my family.
Wow.
I had my daughter and two of my cousins that were, kind of like my person, because
Yeah.
my daughter was like, what, 20, 21 when this happened.
Mhm.
So she didn't know a lot. So I
Mhm.
had to have an advocate for me
Absolutely.
to, let her know these things.
Mhm.
So they did everything they needed to do, and they got the reversible trait. And when it was time for me, they told me, like, you'll be able to talk again and walk again and stuff like that. And let me tell you, at the beginning of when you're going through that, you're angry and you don't want to hear none of that. You feel like, I used to tell them, you don't have to lie to me.
Mhm.
You can tell me the truth,
Yeah. Try to
because
yeah.
yeah, I used to always just go. They said, no, we seen a lot of people when I didn't realize how I was walking around with a half of a head, with half of my head sunken in the
Wow.
other part, and I'm still trying to do therapy and all these things with half of a head. I didn't understand, like this probably is going to be my life, and
Yeah.
maybe they're trying to tell me this
To
to lighten the
yeah,
load
lighten the load. Mhm.
of what's really going on with me. So I was so angry. I never did, when people would come in, even when I got my voice back. I've been telling you about that night. That night before, when they told me we probably gonna do the thing so that we can take the trach out. And what the trach, and when they take it out, it automatically closes up on its own, like over time.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm so excited. So the next day, when before they did it, I was saying a prayer, and I was saying, God, you know, um, I know that I have been acting very unappreciative for this second chance at life,
Mhm.
but I promise you I am very appreciative. And if you give me my voice back, I would tell everybody how good you was to me and what you did for me,
Mhm.
and how you rose, how you allowed me to rise up out the bed just like you did on the
Mhm.
third day. Like, I believe that, you can do these things. You
Mhm.
said whatever I ask in prayer, you'll give it to me.
Mhm.
So I'm asking you to give me my voice back.
Yeah.
And the next day when they came in and did everything, and they were just like, see if you can say something. And I was just like, hello, hello. Cause I'm thinking like, I'm apprehensive, like,
Mhm.
hello, like,
Yeah. Can you say something? Yeah, right.
yeah, like, hello. And
Yeah.
then they were like, go ahead, say it loud. I'm like, hello, hello. And my voice was so, you know, deep.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you, my voice is different now. Even though I have my voice back, it's different. It's not
Mhm.
as strong. Like if I
Mhm.
get in I have a loud family.
Yeah.
So when we do things, everybody's loud.
Mhm.
Now I really can't compete with them. Like if we're having
Mhm.
if it's like a lot of people, they're like,
Debate, yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If
Mhm.
we playing like a game and we gotta,
Mhm.
people are like, I'm trying, like I'm at my top, and I'm still not as loud like
Yeah.
as them. So
Mhm.
I feel like because of me having that trach in for so long,
Yeah.
it kind of,
Kinda mess with you.
yeah, mess with my throat and mess with, the way that I talk, and my being long-winded. Like if when I'm talking or trying to sing something is very,
It can take a
I'm not
toll.
as, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
not as long-winded as I used to be, but
Mhm.
believe it or not, has gotten a lot better.
Mhm.
But I don't do a lot of like strong talking and doing a lot of stuff because I barely be around people, so it
Yeah.
don't call for me to do that. But
Mhm.
that's the part that I was telling you that, yeah, my voice is kind of, you know,
A little
but
different.
I'm
Mhm.
grateful for my
Yeah,
voice.
absolutely, absolutely.
I am grateful to God for my voice. That's why anytime somebody want to ask me about it, I want to tell them that I'm grateful because it was a time when I had to be changed, when I had to
Yeah,
uh couldn't even lift a fork up to my mouth on my own.
yeah.
And now I'm doing these things. I can get in the shower on my own.
Mhm.
I can, I'm feeding myself. I cook my own meals.
Wow.
I can, it's a lot of things that I can do.
Yeah,
The things that sometimes puts me in a funk some days
yeah.
is that I don't drive now, which is a thing that I'm working towards,
Mm.
um, because of my sight was affected
Yeah.
some.
Mhm.
So I'm working towards, and I just got some new glasses. So
Okay.
I'm gonna try, like my daughter said, she's gonna try to work with me. And
Nice.
also
Mm.
my walking is affected some because one of my I have like foot drop. So
Mm.
I have
Okay.
these appointments and stuff coming up to see if they can give me a lift in my shoe because I have this other brace that I don't feel that's for me because it hurts bad in my shoe. So
Yeah.
now they're giving me something else to see if it can, so that I can be more balanced off. And that is the reason too why I think I don't work out as much as I should, because it causes problems with my hip because I'm off balance.
Mm.
Like if I'm walking a long period of time, it's like you going up and down, side to side, and it's very painful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that causes me. So I feel like all around that part, if I do that part, I'll be, you know,
A lot more
much
mobile.
better with,
Mhm.
doing those type of things, and also trying to find me go back to work because I really want to go back to work and do things that I can do. But because of my balance, I feel like I want to be more balanced when
Yeah.
I'm trying to do things, especially if I want to go back to, I don't know if I want to go back to billing and coding in the doctor's office, but I've always had a love for children, and I've
Mhm.
always I taught for a long time, so I kind of maybe want to go back into that field, even if it's just like online or either even in a classroom. I feel
Yeah.
like it's needed,
Yeah.
and that was like
Absolutely.
my first love, working with kids for like over 20 years. I was
Yeah.
working with children, so I feel like that's the thing I feel like I need to get out of the house because it takes a toll on my mental by sitting in the house like day in, day out. And I only get out the house maybe, like my daughter works through the week. So like
Mhm.
on her 2 off days, like Thursday and Friday, she may take me out like one of those days to, like, oh, we're gonna go for a walk, we're gonna go to the grocery store, we're gonna go,
Mhm.
get ice cream just to kind of get out the house, but I don't do it on the regular.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I can tell people that the most important thing when you're dealing with recovery from a stroke is to be out of the house.
Out of the house. Yeah.
It plays on your mind so bad
And and
to
and that's the thing too. Like, well, I was in listening to your story and listening to what you're saying as well. Um, that's a whole nother thing I kind of wanted to like rewind back with. I know you kind of sharing a little bit more in detail, but I do want to ask you: did you know that you were having a stroke? Did you know the symptoms? Did you know anything about it? Did you know? You know,
no,
you didn't know anything.
no, no. And I think that's why it's so important, because people were asking me like, were you eating bad? Did you have high blood pressure?
Hmm.
Did this happen? Did that happen? Were you overweight? Were you,
Hmm.
I'm just like, none of those things. Like, even when I was in the hospital, people used to say, what I see on paper is not who I see. It's
Oh,
like,
wow.
I see all these things about, you had all these surgeries, you had this, you had to go, I had to go under the like 3 times.
Wow.
Once to remove it, I mean to remove my skull, then
Mhm.
the second time to no, the first time to relieve the pressure.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
second time they had to go in and they had to remove that piece.
Hmm.
And then the third time I had to go back for them to put it back in.
Wow.
And so people were like, how was that possible?
Yeah.
And to me, I don't know. But when I were in the rehab, they were telling me, oh, you're gonna be okay because they have seen I was on the floor with stroke patients, right?
Yeah.
And it was two young ladies in there. They were 18 and 22 and they had a stroke. And it was from birth control.
Oh wow. Are
And
you serious?
yes, I had never heard of that before, like from birth control. Because when the lady was
I've
telling
never
me,
heard
she was
that.
like, how old are you? And I was like, I think I was like 40. And she was like, and this other lady was like, you so young.
Yeah,
And
like
so, yeah, and the other lady was like, well, it's two young girls down in the same hall that's 22 and 21 that's had a stroke. And they were like, we realized that you probably can be a little better. They'll probably snap back faster than you because you're older and they're
mm,
younger, and
mm,
it's just different.
yeah.
But they said at the same time, I'm not. It's people in there that are 60 and 70
Mm,
that they know that I would probably recover faster than them
yeah.
because I'm not as old as them.
Hmm.
So the recovery time is kind of like the wear and tear in your body, like over the years. And I never smoked before. I never did drugs. I never did any of these things. So they would always ask me like, are you a smoker or is this going on? Is that going on? Like, no,
It's like
none
nah,
of these
yeah.
things are going on with me.
It's birth
I was
control.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't have
Hmm.
nothing going on.
Hmm.
So of course this was a major shock for me
Yeah.
and my family. Like, she had a stroke.
Yeah.
Like, all
Did
of
did
this
it
going on.
did it hurt? Did the stroke hurt? Like, did you feel anything when it was like, yeah, like how did it
Um,
feel?
well, I can't tell you that it was painful because only thing to me that was painful was when I was when I hurt myself when I was having the seizures. And they was trying to
Okay.
find out like, did I hit my head when I was having the seizure? Because I couldn't recall because they told me I had a seizure at the even when I got to the hospital,
Hmm.
that's what they was telling my family. I had like 3 or 4 seizures. I was having the seizures regularly.
Wow.
And they were trying to stop the seizures and they were saying to relieve the pressure off my brain that was causing it.
Yeah.
So they asked me, have you ever had seizures before? No, never in my life I had a seizure before that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, never. So
So
you so and so that being your first time, they were so hold on. Because it's funny because it sounds like the doctors and nurses and people inside the hospital, they didn't even realize that birth control was causing strokes.
right, right,
So do they
right.
know
But
now? Is that still the same way now? Do they still not know?
I, I believe that they do know because once it was going on, they told me, they said, yeah, if you get on birth control at a certain age, they
Mhm.
said they don't believe that she should have put me on birth control at 40 years old because your body is different at 40 and when you 18. But then
Mm.
when they started telling me that,
The 18 and 20-year-old.
yeah, the 21-year-old, and so I was asking the doctor about that. Like, once I oh my God,
Mhm.
this is so amazing, right? Because when I wanted to share this before I forget because I'll be forgetting. Um, when I went in there for the last time to get my skull put back in,
Mhm.
it was two doctors in there, and they told me like my family came and everybody prayed over me that I would come out okay,
Yeah.
and it was two doctors in there, and it was
Mhm.
they told me, okay, lay back and close your eyes, and when you wake up everything will be good. And before they did that, they came around me and they hold hands and they said a prayer. And when from then I knew that I was in good hands,
Mm.
that God was going to take care of me because the lady, her eyes were like this blue gray or something. I'll never forget it.
Mhm.
And she laid me down, and when she told me, just close your eyes and start counting to 10. And I did that. And when I woke up, her her eyes were the first eyes I saw. And she was like, how do you feel? And she was just asking me questions. And
Mhm.
then I was like, I'm, just looking at her like I made it, like,
Yeah.
and then she was like, I told you that God had you. And every time I would run into that lady just in the appointments or hospital, I would just cry because
Wow.
it was just so good that God had people
Yeah, around you.
that was like angels that
Mhm.
really cared about what was going on with me
But you,
because of
yeah.
all of the things that can go on and go wrong with surgeons and hospital
Yeah.
with doctors being too tired or
Or they just hate the
overworked.
job. They hate the
Yeah,
job.
I just like, come
Yeah.
on,
They
just
here for
get
the
in here and
money. They
just
here for
lay
the money.
down.
Yeah. Come
Yeah,
on.
and do
Yeah.
whatever. But it was
Yeah.
just such a like angelic process. Like
Yeah.
it made me feel so good. Like when I saw them grab hands and started to
They
pray.
pray. They pray for you. The nurses and the doctors and pray. They.
Yes.
I ain't never heard that before.
I was like, because
Like.
I'm looking around, because right before I went in, my cousin, which is a pastor, he was praying with me and my daughter. And the lady came in and was like, we ready for you. We gonna wheel it back. And so my cousin was like, everything gonna be okay, and God got you.
Yeah.
And when the lady was rolling me back, the nurse,
Hmm.
she was like, your family is right. So I'm just like, okay, because I'm so nervous. I'm shaking because I'm so
Hmm.
nervous. And she
Hmm.
was like, calm down. And then she was like, God, we pray that you calm her
Mm.
and let her know everything gonna be okay. This is the lady that is wheeling me back there. This is before I even got in the room, in the surgery
Wow.
room.
Wow.
So when I got in there and they said a few words to me and automatically they grab hands and I'm still sitting up, like, and then it was like, okay, we're gonna lay you back.
Yeah.
And then they just started, the doctor was like, God, we put it in your hands.
Hmm.
And I was looking like, this
They.
was so amazing to me. And I just feel like through everything, God was with me.
Yeah.
Like every step, every naysayer that said that I wouldn't speak again, I'm speaking. I
Yeah.
won't walk again, I'm walking. I
Hmm.
wouldn't do all these things again, I ain't
You're
doing it.
doing it. Yeah.
And I want people to know that it's not easy
Hmm.
because my family that knew me before this, sometimes they treat me as before this, and I try to tell them that I am not the same person.
Mm.
Like you may see me as, oh, you look so good. I can't believe you went through all of that. But on a daily basis, it's a struggle because when you're used to getting in your car and just driving away and don't you can't do those things right now. When
Hmm.
you used to just doing your own thing, you
Hmm.
have to wait on people to do everything for you or to take you here, take you there, or it's that right there is by itself is a lot
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to.
For you and those people, you know,
Yes,
or at least it
because
can be. Hmm.
yes, because when you're speaking to someone and
Hmm.
they're talking about, oh, let's like with my book thing,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do it and I'm telling people like, yeah, they're sending me things like, oh, okay, you can do that, that, and that. And I'm telling them my brain do not work like that anymore. Y'all
Yeah.
used to me being so sharp
Hmm.
with everything. So you
Hmm.
can pretty much tell me something, show me one time, and I got it.
Yeah.
Now I have to read, like, okay, then do what? Like, I need you to
Mhm.
go, first you do this, second you do this. Even
Yeah.
with the podcast thing, I've been trying to do that.
Yeah.
And everybody like, oh, it's easy, just do X, Y, and Z. I'm like,
Nah, you need
no.
help. Hmm.
Yeah, I need help. I need you to tell me first, do this, okay. Then when I click on this,
Yeah.
and then what else I click after that? Then
Hmm.
I click what? Then I do what? Like I need it broke all the way down as though you would talk to maybe a kindergartner.
A kid. Yeah, exactly. And that's
So
understandable.
they like
Yeah.
you're so you really are still smart. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that some things are it's harder for me to pick up as fast as I used to.
And
And I want people to understand that.
let me ask you this. Do you feel like, because I know, you went through all of this. This is the results of the stroke. But then let me ask you this question. Do you feel like had you not taken the birth control, none of this would have ever like do you feel like
Right, right, right. That's what I feel. That's what I feel. And for a long time, people was like, why didn't you sue the hospital? Why didn't you sue the people like
oh yeah,
for giving you the birth control, them knowing that the
yeah.
age that you were and it changed your life. Like you can never I'm never gonna be 100% again.
Mm,
So that was a whole big thing because when you're down, you can't fight for yourself. So I did have people around me,
yeah.
but they kind of were like slow to do everything.
Hmm.
So when I finally came around to like, oh, I want to do this, it was like the limitations like for neglect or whatever they call it,
Yeah.
hospital, like it ran out. The
Hmm.
limitations, because it was like years and years had done passed, and they said when I tried to get a lawyer and all of that type of thing, it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, you probably could have did it if you did it within that first
Oh
year or two.
man, what?
Yeah, so I didn't really have people around me as far as knowledgeable and knowing like, hey, when this first happened, they should have been
Do
on it,
this,
like,
yeah.
hey,
Hmm.
blah blah blah. And I'm trying to tell them like I couldn't even fight for myself because I was
You
down.
were down, yeah.
Yeah, and even when I was up, I wasn't up
Yeah. Yeah.
to know,
Hmm.
okay, this is what happened. And they're telling me like this is what caused it. Like you didn't have it, nothing else is because people used to ask me, do you have like I started out taking, I had to take 8 to 10 pills, right?
Hmm.
When I first was in the hospital, they was giving me pills for this, pills for that, pills because they didn't want me to have more strokes,
Yeah.
high blood pressure pills, even though I never had it before this, and just all kind of pills. I chomped them down um, to, I was on a feeding tube as well.
Hmm.
So for a long time, I couldn't eat on my own either. So I
Uh,
had a feeding tube. So they would put my medicine, they would put everything in that feeding tube.
yeah.
But the in order for me to go home without taking a machine home, I had to learn to swallow my pills.
Wow.
And that was a stipulation because I was very like I was used to be so I never before this happened, I didn't like to take pills. I would always crush them up. So just imagine you have all this going on with your
All this
throat.
stuff.
And
Oh man.
now they want you to swallow pills, and I'm already
Yeah.
traumatized. Like, no, I'm scared it's gonna get stuck. It's
Yeah.
not gonna go all
Yeah.
the way down.
Hmm.
So I went through that whole transition. They told me, hey, my cousin told me, hey, they said you're gonna have to take this machine home in order to get what you need, or you got to swallow these pills.
Wow.
And I didn't want to put that on my daughter because my daughter was going to be my primary caregiver.
Yeah.
So I
Hmm.
pushed through and I start like, oh, I'm gonna have to get these pills down. If I have to take 3 of them, wait a while, take
Hmm.
2 more, wait a while. But when I got out, I was only on seizure medicine. I was only on like 2 or 3 things.
Hmm.
So now I'm on none of that.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm on none of those things.
Let's
So now
go.
I try to like take my vitamins and kind of, keep my body up because I try
Hmm.
not to do anything to get sick
Hmm.
or I'm barely around people, but you go anywhere
Yeah.
and
You can get anything. Yeah.
because I was not even around like people, but I realized that my daughter goes out.
Yeah.
See, my daughter goes to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Hmm. Or the
when
mailman.
we had got COVID.
Hmm.
And I was just like, how did I get
I
COVID? Because
know. I know.
I don't even go nowhere. And neighbors was my daughter was sick
Yeah.
first, but we thinking she just got a cold, but end up she had
Hmm.
COVID.
Hmm.
And we had to,
Yeah.
both of us had it.
Yeah.
So we went through that whole process. But really, I am just grateful.
Yeah.
And I always want to be a person that shares my story with people to let them know that you can do it, you can make it. The most important thing is to keep in the faith and never giving up.
Absolutely.
Never taking no for an answer
Yeah.
when it comes to you, always being your biggest advocate,
Yeah.
when somebody's telling you one thing, because I think I never, even now, I
Yeah.
take nothing, no medicine, no pills, no nothing without asking questions
Yeah.
and without doing my own research before I take them. Because
That's a big one.
yes,
That's a
doing
big
my own research, like what
own
is this
research.
for?
Yeah.
What can happen?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
can this cause this? Can that cause that?
Yeah.
Before I start taking it, because doctors are human,
Yo.
and if they have
Yo.
dealt with cases, like if
Yeah.
if if this last person and they gave them birth control
Yeah.
and that worked for them to regulate them, they like, hey, that works. But then you get another person, it don't work for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just be your, keep the faith and always keep pushing
Mm-hmm. And
in
how
everything you do.
and how can someone avoid having a stroke? Like what I know you had a stroke and I know your stroke came from birth control. So like
Yes,
I know you mentioned certain things now that people can do, like you said, watch. I guess like you said, do your own research, be your own advocate. With the,
yes.
are you also saying don't take birth control? Are you telling people or women?
Um, I
Yeah.
would say no. I would say no for me, because how it has changed my life drastically from a person that is very and I think it changed my life more so mental than anything, because
Yeah.
I was very high spirited. I don't really like being around people like that much now.
Yeah.
Kind of off, and then I don't like you, just a lot of things that's different about me
Yeah.
that I was never that person. I
Yeah.
was always the person that's always laughing. I was always upbeat. I was
Mhm,
always on the go. If you look for
mhm.
me twice, at least twice a year, I'm going somewhere. I'm either on a cruise, I'm either in Puerto
Wow.
Rico,
You
I'm
were that
either,
person. Wow.
yes, I'm on the go. And for this to sit me down where I don't do anything, that is the thing that is the most mental thing that you deal with on a daily basis. Like, God, like, all
Mhm.
I want to do is just get up and just boom.
Yeah.
I just want to do this. But it's also important to be grateful for what you do have,
Yeah.
because there are people that are dealing with a stroke now that still cannot talk and will not talk, that cannot walk and will not walk. And my last thing is to say that the thing that turned me around while I was in rehab,
Mhm.
when I was so angry at the world,
Mhm.
is that I didn't want to work out. I didn't want anything they was telling me to do. I was fighting against it because I was mad.
You're mad. Yeah.
When I end up changing my mindset is when I went in this room where they had a lot of people exercising and getting there, trying to work out and help them. It was a guy in there. And at this time, I've came to a point where I'm sitting up on my own. I'm feeding myself.
Mhm.
I've come a long ways. Like now I can't walk still, but I'm in there for them to put me on like the thing that helped me walk and all of that.
Yeah.
So this guy, he could barely lift his head up. He can barely do anything. When I tell you this guy was trying with all of
Might.
his might
Yeah.
to do what I was already capable of doing.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
when I looked at him, I said, God, it's no way
Yeah.
that I'm gonna sit up here and be ungrateful and be bitter and be mad at what you have gave me. And these people are telling him that this might be his,
Yeah. Mhm.
where he at. And I
Mhm.
have came so far past that. And I'm sitting up here being mad at the people, the very people that's trying to help me.
Yeah.
I'm angry and fighting against them. That
Mhm.
next day, they came in. Every morning they would come in and peek in, scared. Miss Page, you ready for therapy? No. You ready? This me? No. You ready for that? No. They
Yeah.
were like, come on now, Miss Page. You know you got to know. Don't come
Mhm.
here. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. Go
Yeah.
to the next person.
Mhm.
That particular morning, I was already dressed. I told the nurse, put my clothes on. She was looking at me like,
Who are
I
you?
put my yes. I
Who
was
are
like,
you?
put my clothes on. I'm
Yeah.
getting ready. She was
Yeah.
like, oh, she was like, okay. She was telling that lady, let's get her dressed. Let's get her dressed.
Mhm.
When the therapist came in there, he was peeking his head in like, Lord, not today. Like I'm not with this foolishness with her today.
Mhm. Mhm.
As he peeked in, I was smiling. I said, good morning. He was like, who who is this?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Right. Who is
And I
this?
was, yeah, and I was like, it was like, you ready? And I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Put me in the chair. They was like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And from that day forward, I did not look back. I was pushing myself. I was going. I was getting it because that's what I want. What I wanted out of it, I had to put in it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's important too.
That's
If you
important.
just lay around and mope
Yo.
and all of that, it's nothing gonna move for you. It ain't gonna move at all. So you gotta put what you want out of it, you gotta put in it.
Mm-hmm. Yo. This right here. Larissa, she had to run, by the way. I'm not sure if you saw her message, but she had to run. She had a
Oh,
meet.
okay.
She works and get on the call at the same time. She had a meeting today.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
just let you know. But um everything you said, from the inspiration to the, my favorite part, what you just said. If you sit around and just mope and think that, if you have a heart attack or a stroke, or if you're heading that way, what I'm saying? Because certain things are preventable. It was just in your case, you were given something that you didn't know was going to make you have a stroke,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that's real scary. Because to be healthy or to not have high blood pressure, all these type of things, and then you get prescribed a medication that causes you to get a stroke. Like, you can't you can become angry. It's like, man, had I not gone to you, what
Right,
I'm saying?
right.
Maybe I should have just dealt with the period bleeding
And
and
I
the
live in the same city, and sometimes I ride past that doctor's office. I'd be so mad, like
yeah,
sitting on the passenger side of the car where I usually would be driving.
yeah.
And I got to ride past his office. And even when they call her to tell her what happened to me,
Mhm.
she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna come up there and all that." We never seen her.
And that you talking about the person that gave you the medication.
Right, right,
Yo, so see, that's a whole nother topic.
right,
Doctors and nurses that give you things or prescribe you medication just to freaking maim you and make you, you know, in a sense, handicapped from the medication that they gave you and said should help you.
right,
You know?
right,
But like you said, nevertheless, it's the perspective that you put on, Carletta, and you not allowing that to destroy you or like help you. I mean, make you go into depression and succumb to depression and anxiety and all these different things because you probably would have been dead by now.
I've been there. I've been there though.
You've
I've
been
been
there.
in that
You've been
state.
there.
I've been in that
Hmm.
state. And
Hmm.
what it is that I chose to, because I would be in a place some days I would sit in the house and scream, holler, cry. My daughter used to have to hold me down, and I used to scream and say, "Why would God bring me back here for me to suffer?"
Wow.
I went through all of that, so that's why I know that it's possible
Hmm.
to get past it.
Hmm.
I know that it's hard, and I know that you can get past it.
Hmm.
All you have to do is perspective.
Yeah.
It's just perspective. And I wasn't trying to hear none of that.
Yeah.
So even when I get in some of these stroke groups sometime, which I kind of got out of them because it's kind of downing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got in them, I try to be that person to be like, if they just had their stroke, maybe this week or this month, and I'm trying to tell them, I understand, but you're gonna look back on this and say, I can't believe I came this far. Like it's gonna be that time that all you gotta do is get yourself in a certain mind frame,
Yeah.
a winning mind frame, pretty much.
Yeah.
Put
And like
yourself
you
in a
say, your
winning
faith.
mind frame.
And like you say, your faith. I'm heavy on
Yeah,
that. I'm heavy on
yeah,
faith. Like,
yeah.
I'm heavy on faith. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you.
And I
Like,
told God, I said, God, if you listen, you told me because of my faith, you gonna put me through this. You told me whatever. It
yeah.
ain't say some things, said whatever I ask you in prayer, you'll
Mhm.
give it to me.
Mm.
So I'm asking you to give it to me. And
Bro,
he gave it to me.
bro. Yeah.
So we just got to keep on using that in every aspect of our life because sometimes, sometimes I be thinking like, Lord, what's my next move?
Hmm.
What's my next direction? Where am I going from here? Because I want to do this, I want to do that, and it seems like I'm kind of in a stuck place.
Yeah.
So like, what's my next move? And one night I was sitting here and God was like to move forward, to keep
Mhm.
moving.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't stop, even though it may seem like you in a stuck place, you're really not stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just gotta push, you gotta keep pushing past it. It's like you got this training wheels, and trying to figure out how to do it, and you pushing it, but it seems like it won't go forward. But the more and more you push it and push it, now it's becoming easier for you to push it.
Mhm.
So that's what I believe. It's like you put the pedal to the metal.
Meta. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
with me, ain't no losing.
Yeah.
Like I tell my cousin, they be like, "Girl, you strong. You be, pushing through stuff. I
Mhm.
just don't know how." And
Mhm.
I be like, "Because what else you gonna do? Like
What
if
else you
you
going what else you gonna do? Yeah.
like if you don't do it, then what? What else you gonna do?
Just
Life
gonna
gonna
roll
pass
over
you
and
by."
die?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what you gonna do? And
Yeah.
I always try to wake up in a grateful state. No matter how I wake up, if I wake up in tears, if I
Gratitude.
wake up in
Yeah.
a certain way, I wake up in
Mhm.
gratitude.
Gratitude.
Because every
Yeah.
time I open my eyes, I be like,
It's a
you did
gift.
it. I be like, God,
It's
you
a
did it again.
it's a gift. It's like,
Some days I didn't want to go to sleep
yeah.
because I was scared I wasn't gonna wake up.
Yeah.
He'd be like, go to sleep, girl. You need sleep. You need rest for your
Oh,
brain to heal. I used to sit up
yeah.
like so long overnight. Maybe the nurses used to be like, please go to sleep because you need your rest.
Yeah.
But I was so scared that I would not wake up. And one thing I said when I was going through, I said, oh, I don't think I was fighting for myself for a long time.
Yeah.
I was fighting for my daughter because my daughter was the only child.
Mhm.
And I lost my mom from cancer when I was 16. And I
Wow.
said I refuse to lose my daughter to lose her mother. If
Yeah.
I have any say in it, I'm gonna fight to be here for my daughter. That was before I was even thinking about fighting for myself.
Yeah.
And then I had to realize, like, hey, in order for you to be here for her, I mean, outside of this, you still gotta fight for yourself.
You gotta fight for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, in order to be here for her, like mentally,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
gotta fight for yourself.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Man, hands down. Carletta, this was nothing but a testimony. You know what I'm saying? I
definitely.
I definitely believe it's a testimony. I have one of my own. If you go back in my content, you'll see my near death experience. And when you have experiences like this, not only does again for me it shows me the faithfulness of the Lord, but like also, you really come to realize how short life is. Like life is short. Life is
Mm,
real. Like you could be here, you could like
real,
we could be gone tonight.
real. I
You know,
told them I was just partying for my 40th birthday. I was just like,
you would
oh, I
just
was in an Airbnb. I was
and then
living it
out of
up.
nowhere,
Out of nowhere,
out
I'm
of
out of here.
nowhere,
Like
out of nowhere. I get
out
it.
of nowhere. Like, oh
Trust
my
me.
God.
I trust me. You know what I'm saying? Because my experience was just like I was in a T-bone collision, car collision. The car flipped like 3, 4 times, spinning, flipping. The car that hit us hit my door, and the car like went flying and everything, and we just spinning, flipping. And again, just a few minutes ago, about an hour ago, I was just hugging my family, saying goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you like, am I flipping right now? Like that was all. That was the only thing that was in my mind. Am I
Right.
really about to die? And like,
Right.
and you don't know when that'll happen. You don't know when death is gonna come for you. So what you saying, what you talking about, your experience, your testimony, it's definitely amazing. It's a miracle, but it's not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
I'm
And then
like, God, this your thing. This
yeah,
your thing, God.
yeah,
This what you do. You
yeah,
make the impossible possible.
possible,
I
man.
used to tell them, hey, do your big one on me, God, because
Yo,
listen,
I look.
listen,
I don't know if I want him to do anything else though.
listen. That's what I said. I said, all right now, God. Now I
I'm
ain't trying
good
to be
now.
the strongest soldier now. I don't know who told you that. Pick
I'm
somebody
good.
else.
I'm good. Pick somebody.
Don't pick me, please though. I don't want to be another one of your.
Yo, I was
I
in
don't
a
want another testimony like this. Let me have a testimony about me
yo,
thriving and my business growing and my book doing well. Let me have that type of testimony. Don't give me one of
man.
these drugged down
Yeah,
through the mud. Testimonies.
And then you realize you can't tell him what to do.
Right.
Can't.
He who he is.
He is who he is. It's just like he's God, and he gonna do what he want to do. But I'm just like, please don't use me now.
Please, please don't use me as a, because sometimes people tell me all the time, like, sometimes you didn't go through this for yourself.
Yeah,
You probably went through it
exactly,
for somebody else. And I'm
exactly,
thinking
exactly.
like,
Hmm.
but when I thought about it, I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, because my cousin, right after I kind of came out, she got sick or whatever.
yeah.
And everything that I had at my house that I was using to help me and I didn't no longer need it, it was kind of like passed along. And the people that were helping me, they were learning so much from being in the hospital and
Hmm.
everything. So it kind of like passed down to her. So it was easier for our family to adapt
Yeah.
to her because nothing never happened in our family that big as when it happened to me. So everybody was
Hmm.
caught off like, what do we do? We never heard of this. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
So when my cousin went through something after me, they like, okay, we good because Carletta just went through this and we
Hmm.
know all we gotta do is do this, make sure that. So it was like, girl, I think you kind of went through
You went
the
through the yeah.
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 So we can be
So
prepared for her.
exactly.
I'm like, okay, now
Exactly.
that's enough. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's enough though, right?
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel it. Carletta, this was amazing. I'm gonna wrap it up here, but
Well, thank you for having me on and everything. We finally,
we finally did it.
finally did it.
Let's go. And it must have been meant because I was on TikTok live. You know what I'm saying? I was just getting on there, hopping on
Okay.
there for a little bit, and then you
I
hopped in.
looked because I was like, I ain't seen him in a while. I don't know
I
why I never
know.
like I
Yeah.
haven't seen him on here in a while. I don't know why we never run across each other. Well, I don't really be on live like I used to get in people boxes, but I really
Hmm.
don't anymore.
Yeah.
I pretty much just scroll through and look at stuff.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah.
But I'm glad
But
you
I
got him on.
appreciate you.
Absolutely. This gonna be posted. Hopefully, I'll post this probably by the end of the week at the latest.
Okay.
So definitely be on the lookout. I'll send it to you when I post it too. Like I'll let you know, and shoot you a message and be. Are you on IG as well?
Yeah.
Okay, you know IG because I'll try to add you to a group so you can add Larissa, so that y'all can add each other. But nonetheless, I have you on TikTok, so that's good too. I'll shoot you a message on TikTok, if not IG. But
And then I'll send you a message with my Instagram.
yeah, please do. Please
Yeah.
do. Please do. Because I just want to, I'll tag you in off the post because I post on TikTok, IG and all those
Yeah.
different places. So I'll tag you in the post that I make, the snippets. But this was dope. I'm honored. I'm truly honored that you came on here to share your story. To be a stroke survivor. You know what I'm saying? TikTok live, we talking about a stroke survivor. She survived a stroke. And again, statistics shows, at least from what I've heard, most people in America will probably die from either a stroke or a heart attack when it comes to certain diseases,
Mhm.
um, or health complications. And so, because that is a thing, I thought it was so important that you come on here and share how you survived it. And so I'm proud of you. I thank you for standing bold in your story, for not shying away from it. You know what I'm saying? For not shying away from your faith, sharing your faith and how that played a part. Because I think that's a huge thing.
Yes.
You ain't here for no reason.
Hmm.
Nah, you here to tell it. So tell it.
Yeah. Definitely am.
You here to tell it, so tell it. But thank you so much, lady.
Thank
Ag-
you.
Absolutely. We're gonna stay in touch. Please don't be a stranger.
Okay.
And I definitely would love to have you back on too. Um, when we do it all together, even again with my private group, I mean my public group, we come in and we, invite them in as well. So I would love to have you back on. But
Okay.
nonetheless, thank you. I hope you have a good night. You watching the Super Bowl tonight?
You too. Not really. I'm not really invested.
Mm.
I must figure out who won, but after
Yeah, me
that,
too.
yeah, that's it. That's all I want to know. Who
That's
won?
all I
Okay,
want.
that's it. My little sorry team. Well, they're not really my team, but
Mhm.
my little sorry people here in Jacksonville, they ain't go nowhere. So
Oh,
they ain't my team. I live here and I ain't no fan of them.
you
But
in Jacksonville, Florida?
yeah,
Oh, you're in Florida. Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. But
Oh,
they was fighting for it. They was fighting at first, and then they just no, it
yeah,
didn't work out for them.
yeah,
So
right. It's been a
I
minute.
wasn't really interested. I was gonna watch it if they would have went,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
wasn't interested, but yeah, I get a recap.
Yeah. You just like me. You just like I wanted to see Usher perform. They said Usher gonna be out
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. Now that's the only thing I probably wanted to see, but
Yeah.
everybody gonna be probably replaying it, doing it over on YouTube, and
Absolutely.
gonna be everywhere.
Absolutely.
So I'll see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, your story was way more better than any Super Bowl, so I'll take it any day. I'm for real. I'm glad I
Yeah,
missed it.
yeah.
But
But I'm gonna definitely keep pushing to get this book out because I'm like, it's happening this year. I just got to, and also like the podcast because
mm-hmm.
that's the thing I really wanted to do before I even decided to do the book. But I'm just
Yeah.
all over the place. I don't know where to go. I don't know where
Yeah.
to start.
Hit me up. Hit me up. I run something very similar. I got my own podcast. I got my own stuff. So hit me up and I'll definitely help any way I can.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know some people that are writing books. I know one lady that's almost done with her third book. So if you need help, I got connections.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'll
Well, you
send you
have
a message now.
said again.
I said I'll send you a message like with my
Please do.
number or something.
Please do. Please do.
Okay,
Got you. I got you. Thank you, Carletta. You have a good night. And
you
until
too.
next time.
All righty.
All right. Take care. All right. Take.